Thank you for tuning in and welcome back, team. Did you know there's certain protective measures that your states may have available to you to help you protect your home? One such thing is called a homestead exemption. But what is a homestead exemption? How does it work? And how do you get started on it? My name is Andrew Finney, your real estate geek. If you need help finding a top agent where you live, or if you simply want to drop me a line to say hello, my contact info is below. If you haven't already done so, please go ahead and subscribe to this channel now and like this video. For reference, I upload 6 days a week, so be sure to tap the bell icon and get notified of the very next episode. Thank you. Okay, team, so let's take a closer look at this. This is one of the things that I talk to people here in Nevada about all the time when they close on their home. A lot of people don't know what a homestead exemption is, so the reason I'm making this video today is to see if your state has a homestead exemption or something similar to it that'll help protect your biggest asset, your home, the roof over your head. Because if you do, it would be very, very prudent to go ahead and get one. To know more about this, you might want to reach out to your trusted real estate advisor that you've worked with, or do some Googling on it and find out. Now, I'm going to list out the states that are known right now in this episode, so you can start there. If you're in one of those states, go ahead and continue exploring. If you're not in one of those states, then tell us in the comments section below if your state has it, and just tell us the state and give us the link to the actual county site if it's available in your area. If not, then please let us know what state doesn't have it, so we can go ahead and start compiling a list to help our community learn and grow together. Okay, team, so let's go ahead and get into what is a homestead exemption. So a homestead exemption law actually prevents a sale of a borrower, being you, right, a borrower of a home loan, by their creditors to force a sale to satisfy any kind of debt. In many states, whether your home may be subject to force a sale is a function of how much home equity you have. So a homestead actually functions off of how much equity you have in your house above and beyond what's owed on it. So just to be clear, a homestead is for your primary residence only. A homestead is defined as your primary residence, and investment property does not fall within that definition whatsoever. And the purpose of a homestead are actually rooted in public policies of your state and home ownership, because home ownership is the cornerstone of the American lifestyle and American dream, right? So we got to be able to protect it. So different legislatures across the country have actually made it very difficult for creditors to take your home away from you just to satisfy a debt. So in order for a creditor to force a sale of your primary residence, they would have to have a judgment against you, and you're going to have enough equity above and beyond the exemption amount for the state if you have the homestead there, okay? So how much equity is just a question of how much actually being protected by your state, and that's going to be pursuant to your state law, okay? The second thing here to know is that if your equity below your state's homestead exemption, if your equity is below your homestead's exemption, then no sale needs to happen, right? So if you owe like $25,000 and they're trying to collect on that $25,000, and let's say you have a $300,000 home with a $280,000 mortgage balance, guess what? And let's say that state that you live in protects you up to $50,000 in equity, then guess what? You don't have enough equity for them to force the sale of your house. Now, they might put a lien against you, they might put a judgment against you, destroy your credit score, put a collection against you, what have you. But the important thing to know here is that if your state provides the homestead exemption, they can't force you to sell the roof over your head, which is very, very helpful. So that's something to think about. Now let's go ahead and go into some of the states that we know about that have homestead exemption. One of them is actually Florida. Okay, so we have Florida, we have Texas, we have Iowa, Kansas, South Dakota, and Oklahoma, in addition to the District of Columbia. So some of the more generous homestead exemptions actually include Nevada, where you get up to $550,000 of equity protected. Minnesota provides protection up to $390,000 or $975,000 if it's a farm, and Montana provides up to $250,000 of an exemption. Now, a couple of states right out of the gate that do not have a homestead exemption are like New Jersey and Pennsylvania. They do have some other form of tenancies and protections, so that's where you need to talk to your trusted real estate advisor that should know this information, or chat with your escrow or title officer and see what kind of protective measures that you may have in your state. Now, the third thing to note is, okay, what happens if your equity is above your homestead exemption? Then there's the possibility of a sale. So let's go back to our $300,000 home to better illustrate this. So let's say your $300,000 home is now worth $400,000, and let's say that you owe $50,000 of debt. Well, and that your state's protecting you up to $50,000 of equity. That exposes a potential of $50,000 of equity right there. So will that creditor make you sell your home for that $50,000? They possibly could, but they're going to have to make a determination whether it's really going to be worth it to them as a creditor to go ahead and pursue you on that $50,000, because the cost of forcing your hand to sell your home might outweigh the proceeds gained from the sale. It just depends on the market. You know, are you in a seller's market, buyer's market, stable market, right? Now, the another option is what happens if you're in this situation? What are a couple of creative things that you could do if you didn't just have $50K in the bank to repay that creditor? One thing is you could talk to your local loan officer about doing a refinance on your house and cashing out a portion of your equity to go ahead and satisfy that debt and get those people off your back. The other thing is you could actually draw on a home equity line of credit, again, talking to your local loan officer about that option, and take out money through what's called a HELOC. A HELOC is just an acronym for a home equity line of credit. Now, this is a really quick video about priming your thought process about a homestead exemption so that you can go out and ask the questions of your trusted real estate advisor, local loan officer, your title/escrow officer, and find out what protective measures you have in your state. Now, what I want you to do is to tell us in the comment section below if your state has a homestead exemption. If not, tell us what other protective measures may be available in your state so we can continue growing and learning as a community together. Now I'm going to go ahead and pop up my contact information. If you want to drop me a line to say hello, or if you need help finding a top agent where you live, please let me know. I always love to hear from you. If you haven't already done so, I'm going to ask you to do 3 things. Number 1, please subscribe to this channel. Number 2, please like this video. Number 3, please share this video around with someone you know is going to be able to help, because just like you, I'm sure there's other homeowners you know, family or friends, that would like to know if an exemption or homestead exemption applies to them and how to protect their home too. In between now and next time, I'm wishing you and yours a lifetime full of love, wealth, abundance, and happiness. Thank you for watching today, team. See you again soon.